When students are trying to improve from a 24 to a 30 on the ACT Math, the biggest challenge is just the sheer number of problem types they have to know how to do. So take Form DO5 from April of 2021. The student needs to know exponent rules, SOHCAHTOA, linear equations, composite functions, and logarithms. And that's just a small sample of what was on the test. This is really challenging for tutors also because we don't know what a student knows or to what depth. So this logarithm question, for example, for some students this would be a great thing to cover. Maybe they're doing it in school right at that time, and this question is not that far from what they're learning. But for another student, it might take 20 minutes to explain it and a lot of work afterwards to keep what you explained fresh. So the student and the tutor really need to work together to find high-value questions for that student. And that's where Mathchops can help. When I'm using Mathchops with students who are trying to go from a 24 to a 30, I really want it to help me with three things. First are the types of questions that the student used to know really well, but they're now on track to get wrong. Second are the ones that maybe they haven't learned, but they could acquire them pretty easily because they're not that far off from the things that they're comfortable with. And then third, I need Mathchops to keep all this stuff fresh. It's not enough for the student to know it one day or 1 week. They need to know it 2 weeks later, a month later, 3 months later. Everything they've learned has to be right at their fingertips on the day of the test. And so that means that they really need to do a tremendous number of questions. Most of my students end up doing well over 1,000 questions across practice tests, Mathchops, and redos. The problem is practice tests and redos are not very fun for students. So if I can use Mathchops to make the homework a little bit more engaging and get them to take more of those high-value problem types, it's really going to help the student. Your student's first assignment is going to be to get this level up. If they get 10 questions right before getting 3 wrong, their score is going to go up and all the questions on the site are going to get a little bit harder. Initially, they'll have a level of 13, so they'll have to work through some of those easier levels. I think this is a really good process for these students. You'll almost always find some questions in there that you weren't expecting. And I like to make the first goal a pretty easy one for students. Like if they're at a level 24, I'll probably have them try to get a 22 just to make it a gentle introduction to the site. When you meet, the first thing you'll do is go to the Analyze page. This will show you what they've done over the last week, and it'll give you an overview of how they've done by category. And this is where you can see some of the questions that they've been answering. Like I say, it can be very difficult to predict what they need help on. This student missed the percent but did well with the ratio. Had a little trouble with the conversion. So these are all ones that you can go over quickly. And I always encourage the student to star questions, because then if they have a question about something, you'll be able to see that. And you can also go to their starred questions where it keeps a list of all the ones that they've starred. So after you've reviewed everything on their Analyze page, you can just go on to something else if you have other things you need to work on. But if you'd like to go more deeply into a topic, you can always create a quiz. Now this could be out of those starred questions that I mentioned, or it could be missed questions, or it could be in a specific category if you want to focus on proportions, for example. Now, once this level is pretty accurate, you're going to want the student to start working on category challenges. These are short quizzes. If you get 6 questions right before you get 2 wrong, then you earn that green token you saw a minute ago right there. And there are a couple ways to use these with students who are kind of in the 24 to 30 range. One is to work on one row at a time. So if a student is really uncomfortable with angles and trig, for example, you might just want them to earn all of these badges. But if their fundamentals are pretty solid and they just need to start slowly working on those medium and medium hard questions, then you might work on all of the 22s and then all of the 25s. So a typical assignment might be earn 3 level 22 category challenge badges. They get to pick which ones, and then again when you meet, you'll go to their analyze page, look at the ones they missed, and then make another plan for the following week. So most of the assignments are going to revolve around the level challenge and the category challenges. When this level's too low, they'll take the challenge. When they're able to get it up, they'll go over to the category challenges, target specific areas. When they're feeling more comfortable about those areas, they may go back and try the level challenge again. If you have any questions, please email me at mike@mathchops.com.